Going on, everybody, this is Jacob Viral. So in the previous video I did an unbox of the subwoofer. So now I'm about to actually officially mount the subwoofer into the enclosure. I got the Phi SP4 V2 Plus 12. I keep wanting to say 15 because I'm so used to saying it with my old build. But I got this wired up. I got some H-gauge wire ran to the bass clef 6K, Crescendo 6K amp at half ohm. I'm going to go ahead and cross-reference check real quick one more time to see what its final wiring impedance is. It should be within 0.2 to 3 max with the resistance jump on this cheap multimeter. So yeah, 0.6. So there you go, right at half ohm. It's a little loud out, getting darker, but I had to do it at night because it's so hot. It was literally like 102 degrees today. So, and I got the subwoofer a day early, which you know how that is as a bass head. You feel, wow, I got the subwoofer's delivering one day earlier. So anyway, all right, so there it is, nice and clean. So definitely some beefy hybrid terminals that I chose instead of push terminals. Last subwoofer with the 10-inch Crescendo, I had 10 gauge terminals, and now I can do really up to 0 gauge, but there's no need to do 0 gauge wire in a subwoofer. That's overkill unless you're trying to get literally like maybe 10-15 watts more out of like 5,000+ watts clamp. And I doubt I'm even gonna see that, but 8 gauge will do the trick. So previous videos, well, you guys just saw the specs of the enclosure, sealed versus ported. So I'm not going to go over that. If you want to know how this box is built, spec wise, ratio, all of that, check that out. But that's where I'm looking like now. Got my wires ran, looks real good, nice beefy sub. So I'm going to probably seal those holes on the other side once I get this finalized and mounted in place. Get it subwoofer screwed in. Hopefully the cutout size is right. So I went 1/8 of an inch bigger than what was set as the cutout diameter. So 1/8 inch is normally pretty close. So you cut off a half of a quarter, so 1/8 of an inch is very minuscule. So literally a 1/16 on each side on the radius you miss. So half ohm was good. Wire's good. I'm not going to use these terminals if you saw from the unbox. Looks like 10 gauge wire, and then use 2 wrenches to tighten it. But that's it. Now I'm going to do a build update. Once I get to the actual subwoofer being mounted in the enclosure, I'm about to fight to put this thing in. I normally wouldn't put this kind of stuff on video, so I'm not going to put that on video. Literally just lifting up the subwoofer, putting it down, mounting it in place, but you know, why not? So I'll show you how I do it. So I'm going to get the subwoofer first, lift it up. Since the height is a good height, so I know the height of the subwoofer fits into the box itself. So there you go. Got the wires underneath here. Getting the subwoofer installed. So the most important thing when wiring subwoofers, especially heavier ones, you guys that have installed subwoofers over 80 pounds, 100 pounds, whatever, it's a really big struggle without tearing up your wood, your baffle, the motor. You want to keep it pretty. So one thing that I've always done, I've actually seen people use jacks to jack their sub up. So what I actually do is I'll get something, a piece of wood or something underneath in the motor to help mount support it. But I'm not going to do that on the video or anything. I was just showing y'all a little bit more motor action before I cut this off. I won't keep this on video since no need to record it, but I'm getting it in place slowly. And it's just one sub. Imagine these guys that's got like 20 of these or whatever. It's just insane, some of the builds we've seen on my main channel, Jacob Viral. If y'all watch that, check it out if you haven't. Some pretty crazy builds. Just think about all the build time it takes. Any of you guys that build, you know, whether you got a single sub or all heck. So there you go. I got it in there. Just size comparison. That's why I kind of wanted to do that on video so you can kind of see. So the displacement of this, it said I think it was 0.19 with the single slug, so the double slug is 0.22, 0.23, so almost a quarter of a cube out of that sealed enclosure. So it's going to be right at 1 cube, a little over 1 cube net, mounted regular. Nice. All right, I'll see y'all when it's mounted. All right, subwoofer is mounted. I used 8 of the Allen key base screws, star screws is what I call them. They were 1 5/8 inches, so it goes a little more than 2 baffles. So that was the what screws I used to mount this down. So there you go. Sorry, that was a little loud. So now I'm going to go ahead and keep working on this and keeping the video rolling as I go. So small little clip video upgrade updates on the same video. So thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you haven't subscribed, and I'm about to show you in a second what I do to this subwoofer. So before that, just want to say, so right now I got this sealed off all the way around the edge, but what happens is when the subwoofer is really obscured, you never know if this is completely sealed all the way around the edge. So I'm about to put some tape to make this uniform all the way around. So you can see how heavy this subwoofer was, and that actually damaged some of the tape here, but that's all good. I'll tape over that. And it's gonna look good when it's done. So I'll show you all in a second when I tape it, how it looks different. Here we go. See, complete tape around the sub. Sorry it's a little loud out, it's getting dark, so the birds and the other animals, wherever they are chirping. But there you go. Got the subwoofer wrapped around with the my 3M tape. So if anybody asks, I get a lot of messages on Facebook, Instagram, and just on comments saying what this is. So this is 2.5-inch 3M aluminum HVAC tape. I get it at Lowe's. I think it's around $12 to $15 a roll, depending on which one you go to. A little expensive, but it works and I like it. It's not pretty, but I like it. Depending on who you are, it's actually pretty. So there you go. That's the build update for today. Stay tuned for another video upcoming in a couple of days with the baffle, loaded baffle port, and see where we get some demos out, some music, find out how this thing goes. Breaking in as well, so I'll have a topic on that, I'm sure. Definitely looks exciting times. Look at that. It's a pretty big box for a single 12. Before it was a 10. It's crazy. And I shrunk out almost a whole cube and adding stuff in here. So definitely going to be more efficient with a 12 over a 10. Way more happy. And a 12 is hardly any difference from a 10 with cone area, so should be still really impressive, especially if I go up 4 or 5 dB. We will see.